Major leadership changes within the NYPD and at a troubled precinct in Brooklyn. This as the city still grapples with random attacks on the subway, a spike in hate crimes within the Asian community as well. This morning we're going one-on-one with NYPD Commissioner Dermot Shea, as we will now every other Wednesday moving forward, for a conversation about the department and the community. And the police commissioner now joining me. Good morning to you, Dermot Shea. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Dan. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. I'm looking forward to these conversations that we're going to have here. Let's begin with the leadership changes within the NYPD, right? Chief of Department Terry Monahan announcing his retirement, which caught us really all by surprise. Was his departure, sir, prompted by the criticism over the NYPD's response to last summer's protests, or were there other factors at play here?
No, I think when you look at Terry, illustrious career, long career, but I think he saw the end coming, if you will. He had been making plans. You know, I'll let Terry speak for himself, but an opportunity came up. He took it, and it creates another one for Rodney Harrison.
Absolutely. You know, the NYPD now has, speaking of Rodney Harrison, African Americans in 3 key leadership roles within the NYPD, right? Chief of Department, as you mentioned, Rodney Harrison, Chief of Patrol, Juanita Holmes, and now Chief of Community Affairs, Jeffrey Maddrey, as well. There they all are on the screen. Earlier this morning, we spoke to Public Advocate Jumaane Williams about the changes in the NYPD leadership. I want you to take a listen to what he had to say, and then we'll chat about it.
Change is always good. I do see some diversity in the changes that we see in leadership to perhaps give some more people some opportunity to rise up. But we want to make sure that we're also really beginning to redefine what public safety is. And so the changes without that redefining is going to be difficult to get to where we want to go to. I do want to give credit to the police commissioner for a speech he made last week where there had been resistance previously, really acknowledging the issues of race, the issues of disparate policing that has been a part of the NYPD for so long.
You know, Commissioner Williams right there, referencing an apology you made last week. I want to ask you, what prompted that apology? And what do you think can be done really to repair the relationship between police and communities of color?
Yeah, thanks, Dan. So when you look at this year, when I was sworn in, I said I considered myself the police commissioner for all New Yorkers, and I meant it. And then when you fast forward, you know, we all know what 2020 was, and you know, what we all went through together and continue to go through in some ways. And with the protests coming out of the murder of George Floyd and everything else, I thought it was the appropriate time. So, you know, we've been working very closely with a number of partners throughout New York City. I was giving a speech at the Harlem Chamber of Commerce last week, and I thought it was the right time to, you know, to open up and to have hard conversations.
Yeah, and I think words matter here, and time certainly does heal. And I want to get to some top issues right now facing the city, and one of them is out of Brooklyn. The 75th Precinct now getting a new commanding officer. This follows community backlash, for those who don't know, over a video that shows him slamming a detainee's head into a sidewalk during a brawl between officers and civilians over mask rules last April. Did that, Commissioner, did that backlash lead to the decision to transfer John Mastronardi, and where will he be reassigned?
I got to slow this one down because there's a lot of inaccuracies in that. And this is 2 days in a row in these articles. Inspector Mastronardi, there's some truth and there's some fiction in that article. He's been at the toughest precinct, you could argue, in the city for about 2 years, and there is no plan right now to transfer him for disciplinary reasons. I don't know where that came from. There is a petition that I'm aware of. We get some complaints from time to time. That is accurate. And he is coming up on a time when, you know, a normal move will be done. But right now, there is no imminent plan. It's expected that him and some others, when they come up upon a period of time in a command, will move. But I just wanted to set the record straight.
No, I appreciate that.
There's nothing imminent.
Did the Change.com petition, it had about 260 signatures right there. People were complaining on that forum, saying that he was seen not wearing a mask while enforcing people to wear one. Did that petition have any factor in the decision here?
But Dan, just to be clear, he is the CEO of the 75th Precinct, and he will be tomorrow, and he will be next week. He has not been transferred. At some point, he's coming up on 2 years in the busiest precinct. At some point, he's going to be transferred, but it's not for disciplinary reasons. So just to be clear.
And will the community, will they now get to help pick that new commanding officer when that transfer does get underway?
Yeah, and that's the exciting part of this. We announced that probably about a month ago, and this, this next series of moves, whenever they come, will be the first group. So I know I spoke to Chief Juanita Holmes yesterday about, the planning stages for this. We've been working pretty close in Brooklyn, anticipating, okay, what commands are going to come up next. And these will be the first ones where we go through this process. Should be interesting.
Understood, yeah, and I think it's interesting indeed. We'll follow it every step of the way. Other issue, just yesterday, New York City Transit President Sarah Feinberg issued a statement requesting more uniformed police officers on the subway. I know you and I spoke about this last time. Are there now any plans to add additional cops to what you already have added?
Yeah, we're exactly where we were. We made the commitment, Dan, to put an extra 500 in. We've actually surpassed that on a number of days, and it's a combination of overtime. It's a combination of putting inside people out, but there isn't too many of them left, to be frank. And we're pulling some from topside, if you will, so from patrol commands. But it's a balancing act where we have a lot of different balls in the air. So right now, we are where we are with that 500 number. I could tell you that the crime, index crime, major crime in transit is pretty significantly down, but any incident that occurs is one too many, and we're going to be there to keep the transit riders safe. Yeah,
that was going to be my question. If you actually saw a decline with that addition, you just answered my question for you. Shootings continue to plague the city. January, officers made nearly 500 gun arrests. I don't know if you have the February crime numbers right now or what they look like. Do you have them?
I do. You know some of these numbers better than me at this point. I could tell you that we're up over 60% in gun arrests for the first 2 months of the year. It's pretty significant. As of this morning, we're at 42% increase in shootings for the year. That's a concern. I could tell you that yesterday we're working with our partners in a particular borough in anticipation of some pretty significant casework that's been done and trying to get that over the line. We think it's going to have a good impact. Small numbers of people driving violence, but this continues to be, it's unfortunately, Dan, it's the same thing. We're going to need a little help here in terms of getting the judges. This is not a judge problem. It's not. It's giving the judges the tools through legislation to be able to keep some pretty dangerous people off the street.
New York's Asian community has been under attack following a spike of hate crimes right now. What steps are being taken to put the communities at ease, specifically in terms of crime numbers as well?
I got to give two people credit here. Inspector Stu Liu from the Detective Bureau and Chief Rodney Harrison. This was their move in putting in place something that very seriously, you can see now, we needed it. This Asian task force to supplement the hate crimes task force. Anyone, we take these instances very seriously. Anyone that has information, we need you to come forward, report it to us, and we will investigate it, no matter how slight you may think it is. So that's the message for all New Yorkers. To, number one, stand up for each other, protect each other, and just to know that when an incident happens, if it happens, your NYPD is going to be there to vigorously investigate it and to keep you safe throughout the entire process, working with the district attorneys.
Understood. I want to squeeze in two more things. I know we're out of time here. Vaccines for the department. How are they doing right now? How much of the department is vaccinated?
Okay, last numbers I got was over 30%. That's uniform and civilian combined, over 30%. I'd like to see it higher. I could tell you that I think some of that playing into that is the large number, as all New Yorkers, that have come down with the COVID. But me being one of those, I haven't gotten vaccinated yet, but I anticipate very soon rolling up my sleeve and getting vaccinated. Good. So hopefully we move those numbers up, but it's north of 30% at this time.
Understood, sir. And lastly, the New York City mayoral primary, about 3 months away. Election day is 8 months away. Let me just ask you point blank. Are you planning to stay on as commissioner through that point in time?
Dan, there is so much on my plate, one day at a time. Whenever I leave, I will work till midnight the day I leave. I can guarantee you that, and that's how I approach it.
I know you will. I know your reputation was that you sleep in your office at times. Hey, Commissioner Shea, I look forward to these conversations. I think the NYPD is part of the huge part of the rebound and revitalization of New York City as we come out of the pandemic. So I look forward to these conversations. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.